Welcome to our 2022.6 release video. We are very excited to announce the following busy updates. Create, edit, and view time off in schedule, print your schedule, an expanded time card report, a very exciting employee job costing tool, and the ability to save your daily project reports as a draft. Let's start with a big one. Being able to create, edit, and view time off within the schedule on the web was one of our most popular feature requests, so we are very happy to announce that this is now possible. There are several ways to create time off from within Busy Schedule. You can click on the drop-down triangle menu and select Schedule Time Off, or you can double-click on the day you want the time off scheduled on, and you can also schedule time off over several days by clicking, holding, and dragging. With this update, all time off entries will now appear on your schedule, including employee time off requests, but only after they have been approved. You can also filter the schedule to only show time off entries. Time off entries can be moved to a different day by simply clicking, holding, and dragging the time off entry to a different day. And you can also edit, copy, or delete time off entries by clicking on them. If you want to copy and paste a time entry to another day, you can easily do that by double-clicking in the day that you want, choose Copy, and then navigate to the day you want to paste it to. Double-click on that day again and select Paste. You can also click, hold, and drag to copy, paste, or delete time off entries. Our second .6 update also has to do with scheduling because now you have the ability to print your schedule. From within the schedule, click on the print icon to print a monthly agenda that shows who is scheduled, when they're scheduled, and any project cost code or equipment assignments for each day of the month. You can also choose to print a schedule that's listed by employee or project, cost code, or equipment, as well as by date. Click Print, and now you have a printed copy of the schedule you need. You can also print schedules by week or by day. And yes, you can print a schedule for a single employee or a single project or specific employee group, position, or more by using the filter to isolate who or what you want, and then choose Print. If you're looking for a time card report that makes you say, ooh, this release has one for you. Our new expanded time card report is a beautiful, comprehensive report that shows you the date, start and stop time, break time, the job costing activity, the type of time tracking, and the total hours for that day arranged by employees. You can view this report by pay period, month, week, day, or a custom date range. You can also choose to add different summaries to your reports: a project summary, a cost code summary, equipment summary, and daily summary. And if you view by pay period, it will also include the time card signatures for that pay period at the bottom. And of course, you can filter by employee, employee group, position, and all active or archived employees. It's really easy to edit a time entry from the expanded time card report by clicking on the row you want to edit. And from this report, you can also view the employees' time entries and view their daily sign-off records. You can also add time off, export, and print the expanded time card report. We love the expanded time card report, and we know that you will love it too. Busy has always done job costing extremely well, with lots of different job costing options and tools, including our supervisor job costing tool. But we're always working to give our users more, and that's why we're so excited to announce the addition of the employee job costing tool. This tool will help individual employees assign their job costing at the end of the day, and it also works great for all our kiosk users as well, giving them the opportunity to record their job costing right before clocking out for the day. Before I show you how it works, let me quickly show you how to enable it. You can enable the employee job costing tool either on web or mobile, and the process is almost identical for both. Go to Settings, Positions, click or tap on Employee or whoever you want to enable this job costing tool for. Down near the bottom you can see Job Costing Prompt. Click or tap to enable the employee job costing tool. Once the job costing prompt is enabled, You also have the option to require job costing. We'll talk about what both of these options look like. When an employee goes to clock out and the employee job costing tool has been enabled, a screen will pop up informing them that some of their time is missing job costing, and it will give them the choice to assign their time or just clock out. If the job costing tool is enabled and required, the clock out option will not be there. They will be required to assign their time before clocking out. When an employee taps on Assign Time, it takes them to the job costing tool. Here, an employee can see their unassigned time, which appears in red in the upper right corner, and the missing job costing, which also appears in red. This little clock icon designates the active job costing entry, or in other words, the job costing entry that they are clocked into right now. Let's run through a few use cases so you can see what the tool looks like depending on how employers want to configure their job costing. First example, a company requires projects to be selected before clocking in and wants cost codes to be assigned at the end of the day. In this case, the previously selected project or projects will be listed here, along with a blue plus icon, showing that cost codes are needed for these entries. Tap on the row or tap on the little plus icon to add cost codes. If an employee worked on multiple cost codes within one project, then they can duplicate the entry and change the cost code and time, or they can tap on the Add Activity button and add another row. Once all the time entries have cost codes assigned and the unassigned time reads 0, the employees can clock out. Let me pause real quick to talk about the order of these rows. When there are multiple job costing rows, the order that the rows are in will be the order that the job costing entries are shown on the time card. So this is the first thing the employee worked on this morning, the second thing, third thing, all the way down to the current project or cost code that the employee is clocking out of. Just something employers and employees should be aware of when using the employee job costing tool. If an entry needs to be deleted, you can delete it. You can delete all the rows, except for the row with the clock icon because that is the current time entry. Also, it's not possible for an employee to add additional hours to their time that they did not work. The job costing tool only allows employees to assign the amount of hours to projects and cost codes that they actually worked. A couple more use cases to point out just to show how flexible this job costing tool is. Some companies don't have cost codes enabled at all and only want to do job costing at a project level. If this is the case, and the cost codes are not being used, then when it comes time to do end-of-day job costing, only the project line will appear here, and employees can be required or asked to assign their time to a specific project. When an employer wants to remind his employees to complete job costing, but not make it a requirement, employees don't have to fill in both projects and cost codes. They can just choose a project or just pick cost codes, or both if they want. This example is slightly different from the others because when job costing is enabled but not required, you can still submit your time even if it's still showing unassigned hours. The reason it's showing unassigned hours here is because I've only selected projects, so technically there are still hours that haven't been assigned to cost codes yet. That's what the unassigned hours here are reflecting. But because the job costing is optional, you can sign out without assigning your time to both projects and cost codes, as long as these entries equal your total number of hours for the day. The final example is when both a project and cost code are required at the end of the day. In this instance, employees must assign all their hours to both a project and a cost code before they will be able to clock out. If an employee worked on the same project and cost code all day, they can fill out one entry and all their hours will be assigned to it. Or if they worked on multiple projects or multiple cost codes, they can create multiple job costing entries until all their hours are assigned to both a project and a cost code, and then they can sign out. A few more things to note. If on-site verification is enabled, then those projects requiring on-site verification can only be used in the job costing tool if the employee has clocked into that project at some point during the day. In other words, an employee can't skirt the system and use the job costing tool to work around on-site verification. When using the job costing tool, employees are still on the clock for the short amount of time it takes to do their job costing. Once the job costing has been submitted, employees will not be able to go back and edit their job costing. Our final 2022.6 update is the ability to save a draft when creating a daily project report. When a supervisor is creating a daily project report, instead of losing whatever information he's already created, he will now be prompted to save his DPR as a draft if he wants. The supervisor can come back to his Dpr draft, open it, and the DPR will automatically update with any new data that's been collected, while at the same time, saving any notes the supervisor previously made. To access a saved draft, they can be found under the daily project reports on the day the draft was made. You can also use the 3 dots up here to find and view all the drafts. 2 very important things to note. First, signatures are not saved in the drafts. So if you have signatures already created and collected in your DPR and you try to save a draft, you will be warned that they will be lost. We designed the draft feature to work this way to ensure that when a signature is created, that signature is signing off on the most current data. The second important thing to know is that DPR drafts are saved locally on the phone and are not viewable from the web or synced to the server until they are finished being created. Which means if a supervisor happens to log out of the Busy app, or for some reason deletes the Busy app, their DPR drafts will unfortunately be lost. But in most everyday cases, supervisors don't need to worry. Their daily project report drafts will still be available when they clock out and clock back in again. Or when they close their app for the day, their DPR drafts will still be there when they come back. We hope you enjoy these new Busy updates. Our amazing team is working hard to bring you the very best mobile time tracking app possible. And there's always more to come. So until next time, you know what to do. Stay busy.